Well, I'm really happy to see the adoption of that social skills curriculum that you all have selected. And I'm also very excited that there's a paired professional development plan to go with it so we can get high fidelity use of that social skills curriculum. We've actually been hearing from our employers locally that our students just aren't coming with those soft skills to be productive members of the workforce, so that's something that we need to pay more attention to. And they're saying that they're totally prepared academically, so that's wonderful. So we really just need to target some of those soft skills.
I also really love the idea of teaching these social skills. So many of my students need these skills to work together in class and also in social situations. But when uncomfortable topics come up, I may need some help from the counselor.
I think it's going to be really helpful in small groups, that way it can be consistent with the language that they're hearing in their classroom, in my classroom as well.
Having a specific curriculum that I can pull from will be really helpful when I'm pulling small groups of students for extra help. It'll help them have a common language to use and help us all be on the same page. It'll also help the lessons to stick.
Yeah, and I like that. I know that when my kid's learning, and then I can continue that learning when my kid gets home. I mean, y'all get to see my kid in so many social interactions, and I appreciate that you can support him in learning the skills he needs or skills he might not have learned yet.
Right. I like the idea of the parents knowing what social skills lessons are being taught at school. So looking at logistics, though, we need to find a scheduled time for these social skills lessons.
I mean, I like the idea of teaching social skills, but I just don't know how I'm going to fit one more thing into my day. I mean, we already do assessments and academics and all these extras. I just don't know how I'm going to fit in one more thing.
In considering the idea about social skills, initially people might have some concerns within a Ci3T model of prevention about how in the world am I going to find dedicated instructional time to teach explicitly social skills and then infuse those new skills into my daily lessons. And in actuality, we think one of the big benefits of doing this is that you are addressing the need that kids have to develop soft skills to not only be successful in the school environment, but actually enjoy a rich array of opportunities in their interpersonal lives, both in school, out of school, and later into employment. So when we think about things like self-determined behaviors, setting goals, creating long-range plans, advocating for yourself in a nice way, and all the things that go into becoming a strong, self-regulated, lifelong learner, we want to be intentional about how we are teaching those skill sets to kids, often using a validated social skills program. And we can think about taking the time to do that as a way of actually building kids' academic enabling skills. So by taking the time to explicitly teach kids the skill sets that they need to do well with others and self-regulate their own learning, we're actually going to buy ourselves some instructional time. Because if we don't take the time to explicitly teach and then show students how to use these skill sets, we are going to have to spend probably more time responding to challenging behaviors when it does occur. So you can think about it as a method of front-loading your time to support students experiencing school success as well as success beyond the school years. So when we think about some of the really strong plans that have been implemented over the years, many schools will come up with dedicated, explicit time for teaching those social skills, and many schools shift to having those being essentially daily doses, so that's revisited all the time in a school day. But then really, it's not just teaching those social skills and then crossing them off a list, it's pre-correcting students to show them how and when to use those. So if I'm really focusing on listening to other people's ideas that may be different from my own, I want to remind students about how to use those new skill sets when they go into conversations that may be somewhat potentially volatile. It might be I'm doing a literature lesson on a novel, and in it there might be conflicts between characters. As a teacher, I could remind the kids of the skill sets that we have shared in days prior about, really giving people the floor and giving space in the room to be able to listen to people's ideas without responding judgmentally or harshly. And we might pre-correct them on how to use those skills during that conversation about the character's journey in the story. Or you might even use a pre-correct to show them like how those characters in the stories could have also benefited from those social skills. When we think about the time that is involved in developing a master schedule for teaching social skills, it is important to map those plans out at the onset of the school year and protect that time just like we would protect academic instruction time. But we want to make sure as we're supporting good social and emotional health for students that it becomes something that all educators, all adults, faculty and staff have in terms of a common language system, that it's communicated and supported by parents with input for them as well. And we want to make sure that we are developing a shared sense of responsibility to make sure that students graduated with the soft skills that they need to fully enjoy their life.